The hills, valleys and beaches of America's most image-conscious conurbation make a fitting backdrop for a flying visit to assess a motorcycle sector where style is more important than substance. Harley-Davidson as a brand has a cachet like few others. With its custom bikes, it has successfully sold a dream of individuality and rebellion to people such as lawyers and financiers who, in their professional lives, would run a mile from the bad and dangerous image that Harley now claims as its own. But can heritage and mass-produced individuality sustain this US bike maker through tough times that are forcing all manufacturers to fight harder just to stay in the game? Harley-Davidson, set up in a tiny shack in Milwaukee more than 100 years ago, was not always so pleased to be linked with some of its owners, although it was always happy to sell them bikes. Disaffected veterans returning from the Second World War were the first to be known as outlaw bikers. They used their D-Mob money to buy cheap war-surplus bikes, stripped them down for speed, named one of their foremost clubs after a bomber squadron, and went out in search of fun. Fast forward through the 60s, and helped by films such as Easy Rider, the bikers still saw themselves as outlaws, and the motorcycles themselves were getting more and more stylized. In 1969, Harley-Davidson was bought by American Machine and Foundry, which also made parking meters, and the quality of the bikes went into a steep spiral dive. But just over a decade later, the company was bought by a group that included Willie G. Davidson, grandson of one of the founders. With Willie G. as stylist, the company brought the customizers and the people who liked the raw image of the brand into the fold, rather than trying, and failing, to ignore them. Following that road has meant that more and more of these mass-produced bikes are now sold as customs.
We were the biggest manufacturer of motorcycles in 1920, and we were in 68 countries at that time. Customization was already taking place, and that it was becoming more and more of a lifestyle. So customization is just part of our brand, and we hope to continue evolving it and being the #1 in the industry with custom parts available.
30% of Harley's turnover comes from a huge range of extras and accessories. Buyers of new bikes normally spend the equivalent of $2,000 on tuning and cosmetic enhancements, on top of the initial cost, plus $1,000 on clothes. And they often spend that same total each and every year.
They're really a piece of art, right? It's like a painting on a wall. Where we really focus is that we like customization that provides function, provides comfort, provides a different look, but it's still very usable. Part of the fun is the artistic ability and the craftsmanship of a lot of our customers and dealers and what they're able to create. They just keep evolving and changing. When you're walking through a rally, you truly never see two Harleys alike.
Given that it's mainly about looks and image, this one, the Crossbones, rides and handles surprisingly well. These bikes aren't in the same league as the sports bikes I usually opt for, but for gentle cruising, to show off your tattoos, or even out in these winding mountain roads above Los Angeles, they are enjoyable to ride. It's not surprising that what is now an archetypal purveyor of the concepts of independence and individuality is closely linked with a rock and roll lifestyle. But that does carry with it the danger of narrowing the market. Harley was forced by the downturn to pull abruptly out of the sports bikes it had diversified into, so now almost all of its eggs are in one custom-painted basket. That's a big risk, but given how much loyalty, old and new, there is to this edgy image brand, it seems there's plenty more mileage in Harley's selling of two-wheel dreams. I'm Rohit Jaggi of the Financial Times.